a situation where we just 10 days to the polls, and there are several questions that are coming out. In fact, yesterday, I think Commissioner Mole was mentioning that some of it is emanating from ignorance. But at this point in time, is there a process we are supposed to be second-guessing from the IBC?
You know, Trevor, we were right on this show, and when we talked about transparency and how IBC needs to be understood to be an institution that is not only doing the right thing, but must be transparently doing so. Now, let's take the issue of these Form 34s, and there being another book that complete with security features similar to the first book with serial numbers, etc. You know, it is difficult for you to buy that this is a copy that is going to be given to observers. And the reason why I'm saying that is it's just given the natural order by which human beings do things. If you give me 2 pieces of paper and ask me to hand copy number 1 to number 1, number 2 to number 2, the probability of human error becomes greater. Why? Because it is easy to assume 10,000 is 1,000, 10,000 is 100,000, and such mistakes have happened even when people were copying down copies of the Bible. Therefore, I do not understand why the IEBC would then create 2 books when there is a very ancient technology that was created. It's called the carbon copy. Right? Why not just simply carbon copy this document so that when you create one, when you write one Form 34, everybody signs and there's 3 copies, and we know the first copy is white, the second copy is yellow, the third copy is green. These things have been done before. It is not necessary to create an extra document. But the problem is not that they created an extra document, it is that they did not inform political parties in time that they've created a secondary document. And this is the transparency I'm talking about. And as long as there is no transparency, the trust level of Kenyans towards the IEBC is low. And it's not just a function of them mistrusting Chebukati. It is also a function of the history they've suffered. Remember, the Mlolongo system was not trusted. Remember the elections of 1997. Mwai Kibaki did not trust the results. So we have a lot of history where the electoral body has let us down. And if you have such a history, then it behooves you again to go back to the drawing board and overshare information. Tell people, be liberal with your information. Otherwise, from where I sit, an extra copy of Form 34s is obviously a platform upon which, if I was running for office, I would create a separate Form 34 so that by the time IBC is receiving it in Bombers, there are 3 copies of this thing that I have generated. And we need to understand, we cannot trust our politicians. Which politician can you trust with 2 books that they can fill forms in? You know, we also need to be a bit realistic. And I'm not doing this to be alarmist, and it is critical that as we go into the election, we have a lot of trust in the IEBC. But that trust is also gathered by them allowing us to ventilate on issues, to discuss issues, so that there's a degree of satisfaction going into the election. And IEBC, tafadhali, if you're listening to me, please overshare. There's nothing wrong in telling us exactly how many forms, how many books, and this idea of saying that a document is auto-generated. What is this machine that is auto-generating this document? How is it automatically generated? Is it going to be someone writing 1 + 1 + 1 + 1 on a paper? What exactly is going? What is auto-generated, right? What happens? Is it that the Form 34As, when they're filled, suddenly Form 34B will appear? What do you mean? And these are the questions they need to answer. Because to the lay person, I can tell you, if it is going to be auto-generated, Otto might be a guy working for Roots Party, and Otto can write it very well.